to you by Keep the Lights On. Use Airtel Money to pay for all your Yaka bills conveniently. Open the My Airtel app to buy Yaka units. Airtel Money. Simple, secure, borderless.
Hello and welcome to News Tonight. I am Rhoda Ngonzi, on sign language Elizabeth Nakakoni. Let's take a look at the top stories tonight. Parliament to whip schools hiking tuition fees without following the due process. Manufacturers threaten exit as taxes on plastics are raised by 40%. While Congolese refugees give an ultimatum to vacate amidst Ebola threat. And in sports, Uganda under-19 girls team head to Botswana for the World Cup qualifiers. Hello once more, let's dig into it. Former Security Minister General Eli Tumwine was yesterday laid to rest at his ancestral home, Mukuru Village, Kazo District. Mourners sobbed as the general's casket was interred amidst military honors in a corner of his artistic compound.
General Eli Tumwine was yesterday laid to rest at his ancestral home in Mukuru Village, Rwemikoma, in Kazo District. Security at his home in Mukuru Village was tightened. Mourners were subjected to different checkpoints manned by Uganda People's Defense Forces UPDF and police upon arrival. His friends and colleagues in the forces, including Enos Tumusime, Major General Retired Kahindo Tafire, and Sam Kutesa, spoke about him.
Kawandu rumumba horo, na waru rumumba horo. Tachi wasaka wagarukamu, omuntu akutongana n'umurambo, n'umuryango w'umutwe n'ateriye. Hato omuntu watanga kutongana n'umurambo, chubanyisa, ng'omuntu gwawe muki.
He was born in Ankole. He came from Kazo, but he was no longer a Ankole man or a Kaze person, but he was a Ugandan and international person.
Lieutenant General Charles Otema, the command of Uganda People Defense Forces Reserve Force, lauded General Tumwine for serving the country diligently.
Personally, my testimony as my commander, as a person who really take this country seriously, as a patriot, that we must have unity.
Lieutenant General Otema described Tumwine as a patriot and Pan-Africanist After years of liberation struggles and national service, the name General Eli Tumwine would go in the books of history as one that saw it. Haruna Mtesasira, UBC.
President Yoweri Museveni, who is also the Commander-in-Chief of the Uganda People's Defence Forces UPDF, has said army officers retiring from active service should use this opportunity to create wealth for themselves now that government is able to send them off with some good remuneration. His Excellency General Museveni was speaking at a ceremony to retire 48 general officers of the Uganda People's Defence Forces UPDF at State House Entebbe. Now, these were meant to be 49 before the death of General Eli Tumwine, who breathed his last a few days ago at the age of 68. President thanked the officers for accepting to work under difficult situation with no or low pay to a stage when the system is able to support them, unlike in the previous armies where the officers retired upon death. He, however, cautioned retiring officers not to listen to opportunists, giving them advice on how they should spend their savings, but rather invest wisely in commercial agriculture. Now, among the notable retirees, most of whom were part of the 1986 National Resistance Army Liberation War that brought the current government into power, include General David Sejusa, who is a former Director General of Military Intelligence, and Lieutenant General Andrew Guti, formerly Chairman of the General Court Martial of Uganda People's Defence Forces until the 3rd of August. That's until the 3rd, when he handed over office to Brigadier General Robert Freeman Mugabe. Others include Lieutenant General John Mugume, Major General Stephen Kashaka, Major General Joram Kakari Tumwine, Major General Manon Katirima, Major General Eli Kayanja, Major General Geoffrey Balaba Muhesi, and Uganda's most decorated female military officer, resistance officer, Lieutenant General Proskovia Nalweyiso, who is currently serving as Special Presidential Advisor on Defense and Security. Over the years, Lieutenant General Nalweyiso has sailed several command and staff appointments, including commanding a female wing of the National Resistance Army, NRA fighters, in 1986. The UPDF Chief of Personnel and Administration, Major General George Igumba, informed the President that 267 senior officers at the rank of Major to Colonel, who are part of the batch 12 that was seen off yesterday. 11 batches have been seen off since 2014, making a total of 9,026 officers who have been retired since then. Now, according to Major General Igumba, this time around for batch 12, the plan was to retire 2,539 personnel involving 75 general officers, 429 senior officers, 275 junior officers, and 1,760 militants, but the number was reduced tremendously to only 316 officers due to budgetary limitations. The most senior retiring general, I beg your pardon, the most senior retiring General David Sejusa, on behalf of retiring officers, paid tribute to His Excellency the President for providing leadership during the struggle, the army leadership and the people of Uganda, without which there would not be peace. General Sejusa noted that however much a lot has been done, a lot is yet to be achieved to consolidate the victories and mission to liberate Africa. He saluted the President for the opportunity to serve the people of Uganda for the victories and achievements registered. The Chief of Defence Forces, General Wilson Mbasombadi, thanked the President for allowing the retiring officers to serve in various capacities and asked them to continue using their experience wherever they will go. The colourful ceremony was attended by, among others, the Minister of State for Defence and Veteran Affairs in charge, Defence, Jacob Oboth, Minister of State for Defence in charge of Veteran Affairs, Honorable Oleru Huda, retiring generals and their families, and other senior officers.
And more urgent. So much has been achieved, and a lot is yet to be achieved. We have, like is the case everywhere. New challenges, some are existential. I pray that the leadership, God gives it wisdom to navigate these hardships. Therefore, continue training, use the opportunities being provided. Make sure that you deepen your ideological horizons, but above all, love your nation and honor the people of Uganda always. They are special people. Conclusion, Mr. President, sir. Your Excellency and dear comrades, there is no greater honor than to serve the people. Those who choose to die in service of fellow men and women, to sacrifice for the higher goals and ideals, and in effect the service of God, for God is his people. I salute you. I thank God for this day, for enabling us to travel this road together, for the victories and achievements we have registered, and for the moments we have shared in happiness and in grief, for it has not always been laughter, like when we have lost so many in battles. We have shared a lot, but we have served Uganda, and I'm sure Uganda will prosper. Thank you, and may God protect everyone, for God and my country.
Now, Parliament wants government to urgently bar secondary schools from hiking school dues ahead of third term opening. This is a follow-up of the allegations that there are some public and private secondary schools which have increased school fees without respecting guidelines. The Parliamentary Committee on Education and Sports is to undertake a site survey to a sample of schools as they continue to investigate the allegations. The committee, chaired by John Twesige, compared notes with Colin North Member of Parliament Samuel Opio, who raised the alarm on the floor of Parliament recently. Now, the members of the committee have tasked the Ministry of Education and Sports to come clear on the matter, which is feared to go out of hand. This also comes at a time when the Minister of State for Higher Education, John Chrysostom Muyingo, asked schools intending to increase fees to first address the ministry through the Permanent Secretary before taking action. The Parliamentary Committee is yet to present its findings on the floor of Parliament.
In my own assessment, I've done a good job, so I will hand over back to it. It touches all of us in one way or another. I want to thank the Honorable Opio.
This committee has been known by other people like Macho for doing desk investigation, desk oversight. I will not build the background, but I'll take you back to COVID situation, whereby schools were functioning under difficult circumstances, but we never moved out of the boardroom. Moreover, the Committee of Health was moving out. Chair, I'm going to oppose that. We must move out, because I'm reliably informed that even schools in Kotido, Moroto, where people are dying for lack of food, have increased the food fees. And once enough, Kampala schools.
We have to quickly come out with clear positions as a committee, and we'll bring the ministry here to respond to some of these issues. And we work on our report. I would call it first report on the issue of these fees. We have it presented on the floor of Parliament by next week. But I think other issues will come out with the discussion. But I would also think, like what Honorable Macho was saying, after that we need to go out to see what is happening. We meet with those boards of governors either regionally, we visit schools, we carry out a comprehensive investigation into this matter and other areas that are affecting the education sector in the country.
Yes, we know the ministry is doing something, but we cannot wait for the ministry. We are quite independent. We are doing the delegated work of the whole house. So we need to really give this country justice, and our people there are looking at us So I'm very sure that if we handle this matter, we shall have helped. In my own assessment, I've done a good job.
And now sections of manufacturers, recyclers and dealers in plastics have warned of the consequences of the 40% tax levy on each kilogram of plastics and plastic pellets. This comes after Parliament passed the Excise Duty Amendment Bill 2022 that scrapped the 20% proposed tax levy on sugar confections but instead levied a 40% tax on plastics.
The Minister acknowledged that the proposed new tax will lead to closure of many factories in the country.
On Tuesday, Parliament passed 7 bills, including the Excise Duty Amendment Bill 2022. The bill was earlier passed in March 2022, but returned to Parliament for reconsideration by President Yoweri Museveni. President Yoweri Museveni asked Parliament to reconsider its decision on the clause to introduce an excise duty of 20% on sugar confectionaries like gum, chocolates, and sweets. This clause was against the government decision of protecting manufacturers who were just recovering from COVID impacts.
Look at other consequential benefits, that taxation is not about raising revenue only.
The President had also disagreed with Parliament on rejecting the new targeted 40% levy on each kilogram of plastic, saying the decision undermines the objectives of government, which were to streamline taxation on plastic products and use of plastics.
Is literally saying, producers of Kavera, be at liberty.
However, on Tuesday, Parliament passed the Excise Duty Amendments Bill 2022, scrapping taxes on sugar confectionaries but levying a 40% tax on each kilogram of plastic.
Argument, however, was that it is easier to close them through taxation than through a blanket ban.
The 40% tax levy translates to 4,000 per kilogram from the 2.5% or shillings 266 per kilogram of plastic and plastic granules. The chairperson, Parliamentary Committee on Finance, Kiwanuka Kefa, however, noted that the taxes in question are arbitrary and will likely be disastrous to the economy.
The imposition of such high, unfair and irregular tax would mean closure of these factories and hence the end of recycling technology in Uganda.
Sections of manufacturers, recyclers and dealers in plastic have warned on the likely impacts of the levy, saying it's most likely to lead to closure of many factories and loss in investment.
It's totally a punitive because it is a tax called the closure tax. It means no business, no more movement ahead.
About 70,000 people are said to be employed or benefiting financially from plastics, directly and indirectly. The manufacture and recycling of plastics has also been one of the key tax contributors to the tax revenue.
Recycling industries, machineries that have been acquired from Germany, China, and all those parts of Europe are going to be stopped.
Nonetheless, plastics, if not well managed, can degrade the environment given the different and dangerous chemicals used in their manufacture. Susan Naung and Gloria Guitabinji reporting for UBC TV.
Now, the government of Uganda has issued a fresh 2-day ultimatum to all refugees camping at the Uganda Democratic Republic of Congo border in Kisoro district to vacate and enter Nyakabande Refugee Transit Center or return to their country. The resident district commissioner Kisoro Shafik Sekandi says the fresh ultimatum is to prevent the possible spread of the deadly Ebola disease that has already been declared in the DRC.
Over 3,000 new refugees have fled to Kajeyo village in the Borders sub-county of Nyarubuye after fresh fighting extended to the villages of Mongo, Kabingo and Musezero in Busanza grouping from Saturday to Monday. M23 rebels are eyeing Musezero Hill, which is occupied by FARDC soldiers less than a kilometer from the Ugandan village of Kajeyo. Musezero Hill is strategic in terms of monitoring Rutshuru town. Chisoro district authorities have held a lengthy closed-door meeting together with officials from the Office of the Prime Minister, United Nations High Commission for Refugees, Police, Uganda People's Defence Forces, Prisons and Immigrations, among others, at Chisoro District Council Hall. After the Wednesday meeting, Chisoro Resident District Commissioner Haj Shafiq Sekandi said that all stakeholders have resolved that refugees willingly avail themselves to be taken to the transit centre.
Committing illegalities, they have allocated themselves land, they are building huts, they are digging, they have put out their own LLC structure and leadership in a country which is not their country.
The meeting has also unanimously resolved that all refugees who are not willing to enter the holding centre by Thursday evening should cross back to Congo, emphasizing that UPDF soldiers and police officers will take over the areas occupied by the refugees to make sure that no one remains in the communities.
Wednesday and Thursday, you either come and seek asylum and the government chooses where you will be taken, or you go back to Congo. If you don't do that, then we shall pick you as an illegal immigrant and then you will face the law. People had illegally occupied, they are going to be removed from there starting on Friday, and security will be manning those areas to ensure there is no more settlement of any illegal nature in those places.
Sekandi further says that the fresh ultimatum is aimed at preventing the possible spread of the deadly Ebola disease that has already been declared in DR Congo. Commissioner for Refugees in the Office of the Prime Minister, Douglas Asimwe, says that all the previous ultimatums were based on convincing the refugees to enter holding centres voluntarily.
Not yet. Before, we haven't enforced. Since now the government, through the Minister of Relief, Disaster Preparedness and Refugees, Engineer Hilary Onek, together with the Minister for Internal Affairs and others, have come up with a common position. It is now going to be enforcement of the directives.
It's confusing Ugandan authority is that some Congolese go to the settlement and return to Bunagana. More than 20,000 refugees have been camping at the border town councils of Bunagana, Rukundo, Mpaka and sub-counties of Muramba and Nyarubuye since fighting erupted between the March 23rd movement, M23 rebels and armed forces of the Democratic Republic of Congo FARDC troops in Rutshuru territory, North Kivu province. The fighting left Bunagana border in the hands of M23 rebels after over 100 FARDC soldiers fled to Uganda.
And now the judiciary has registered an increase in case disposal in the financial year 2021-22. According to the financial year 2021-22 report launched by the Chief Justice Alfonso Winyidolo, out of the 373,974 cases registered in the financial year, 205,967 cases were disposed of. The launch of the Judiciary Annual Performance Report was held at the Judiciary Headquarters in Kampala.
As per the Judicial Administration Act 2020, every financial year Judiciary is required to present an annual performance report. It's against this backdrop that the Chief Justice Alfonso Winyidolo launched the Judicial Annual Performance Report for the financial year 2021-2022.
Is launching the report by signing on it.
The report highlighted that, unlike the last financial years, there was an increase in case disposal, which judiciary attributes to the recruitment of more judicial officials and operationalization of courts.
The judiciary disposed of 205,000 cases, 967, virtually 206,000 cases. The caseload was 373. In other words, we disposed of 55% of all the cases in the system. As I said, we have more judicial officers. We continue to recruit more.
Magistrates' courts were the best in terms of performance, with 71%, followed by High Court, Court of Appeal among others. Chief Justice Alfonso Winidoro expressed the need to strengthen police and the DPP's office to help in speeding the disposal of cases.
I've even said, this thing of bail, we debate if his hands is strengthened. He investigates, instead of coming 6 times, 6 months, that investigation is still continuing. He says, Your Worship, oh my Lord, give me 3 weeks, I'll come back to report. And 3 weeks say, investigation complete. And the magistrate or judge fixes a date for hearing.
With a registered improvement in case disposal, Judiciary decried challenges which still limits its performance, especially in the hard-to-reach areas.
The case backlog stood at 50,592, that's 30%, against 168. Now, there is a new form of threat when a judicial officer stands up against corruption. Those who think they can come and lead judicial officers into temptation. Then when you stand your ground, they begin going around to say, that one is a corrupt judicial officer.
Chief Justice Dolo reviewed the judiciary's way forward in rendering service delivery to Ugandans.
Motion, we will recruit about 10 appellate justices. Once this is done, I will go back to government for supplementary. High Court will be enhanced to 150 judges. If we expand more, we recruit more and give them 1 full financial year. I think when I stand up here, I'll be a very happy man to report to you.
In attendance was the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Nobati Mau, who commended the work done by the judiciary in administering justice to Ugandans.
Believe me, you are far ahead of all of us. You have done a lot, my Lord the Chief Justice and your team. You have changed the skyline. In a country where projects take ages to be completed, even where there is money, now you, the ladies and gentlemen in gowns, are presiding over building projects that are actually being finished on schedule.
The launch of the report was attended by the Deputy Chief Justice Richard Butera, Attorney General Chilio Wachuwanuka, the Director of Public Prosecutions, Lady Justice Jane Francis Sabodo, magistrates, judges, justices, Executive Director, Judicial Training Institute Damali Rwanga, police, officials from prisons among others. Deborah Namamonde, Susan Nabugudde, UBC News.
Meanwhile, government has unveiled plans of expanding land courts to district level with intentions of reducing the case backlog. This was revealed by the State Minister for Housing, Persis Namuganza, during the launch of the Stand for Her Land campaign in Kampala.
Women constitute 51% of the general population of the country. Of these, only 26% own land which is legally registered, something which deters production since most productive activities are carried out on the same land. The National Land Coalition, together with the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, have launched a campaign dubbed Stand for Her Land, aimed at consolidating grassroots and national level efforts to strengthen women's ownership and control to land.
We are now empowering women through that registration because at least 75% of the customary land in Uganda is still unregistered. Now that gives an opportunity to government to register that land, including the women who had been excluded in the other registrations before.
The State Minister for Housing, Persis Namuganza, who officiated this launch, stated government's position to institutionalize courts as low as district level to reduce on the overwhelming land cases at national level.
Because right now, cases of land are spending so long in these courts of law, 10 years and above, and the reason is that the courts have congested with so many other cases. The land court division which is there is so small, as you hear, it's just a division, it cannot handle the backlog. That land matters now are flooding the courts of law. So what we want is to expand these courts and maybe to the district level.
It should be remembered that the President of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, set up a lands committee which was intended to ascertain and assess land conflicts. However, the committee has failed to disseminate findings from this research, something which derails land-related cases in court.
we were halting all processes, all provisions that we had in mind, waiting for that report, thinking that that is a public report that consumed over 13 billion Ugandan public funds. But since 2020 July, the report, after being presented to the president, from there, we have never seen it. The public has never shared anything about it. So it is not a responsibility of Justice Bamugemereire to make the report shared with the public, but it is the responsibility of the President's office.
Some of the women who attended this launch affirmed that if given authority to land, it will relatively reduce on dependency and poverty levels in the community.
So, land is too much important to a grassroots woman like me and the many others in this room that it gives me power.
We are still stuck deep into the social norms. The social norms that actually believe the woman doesn't belong anywhere, that believe the woman is in transition.
Mary Namkose, UBC News.
With that, we take a quick break. When we return, more details. This is News Tonight.
Ni MTN Kabode Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly, or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Kabode Super easy.
It's now affordable. Cook your beans. Avoid smoke.
Sayaka. Cooking with electricity is now so affordable with the Fumba tariff set by the Electricity Regulatory Authority. With the Fumba tariff, you can now buy up to 70 units of Yaka at a reduced price of 412 Uganda shillings per unit after consuming your first 80 units of the month. For more information, contact the Electricity Regulatory Authority on 0200 506 000.
Getting a birth certificate is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Get a birth notification record stamped by a medical officer from a medical facility where the baby was born, or from a sub-county chief if the birth occurred in the community. 2. Go to the nearer offices in your area and present the notification record, a copy of the parents' or guardian's national ID, and a bank payment slip of 5,000 shillings for citizens and $40 for non-citizens. 3. Apply by filing NERA Form 3 from NERA offices or download it from the NERA website www.nera.go.ug. A birth certificate will then be issued to you. Birth certificates to refugees born in Uganda are free of charge. This message is brought to you by NERA.
Susan, I want to propose to Rose. Yes, and this time I am serious.
Have you guys had sex?
Duh, of course.
And have you had sex without using condoms?
Hey, nga you're curious.
I'm more concerned. Are you having sex with other people?
Hey, hello, is this an interview or what?
No, just things you should think about. Do you know Rose's HIV status?
Okay, this is serious. Should I be worried?
It is actually serious. Do you know your HIV status?
I think I am safe. Many times we get into situations that put us at risk of HIV. However, the first step to ending HIV is getting tested and knowing your results.
It's Time Up HIV. Call 0800-211-046 or text 8080 toll-free for more information about how to prevent HIV.
This message is brought to you by Ministry of Health with support from USAID.
Oh, they look nice.
Thank you, honey.
Yo!
You guys gather, it's going down.
Gather! Gather!
Yo!
I tell you what. Yo!
Airtel is giving you bigger data bundles for the same price. Dial *175# to choose from our range of bigger Chillax bundles that don't expire. Bigger monthly bundles, all for the same price, and staying connected longer to loved ones. Airtel, the smartphone network.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Bara and Jinja.
Beat the back-to-school hustle today. Pay school fees conveniently using Airtel Money. Dial *185#. Select option 6, school fees.
Select to pay using Bridge Schools, School Pay, or Beg Pay.
Select option 1, pay fees. Enter student number. Enter the amount. Enter the PIN number to complete payment. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
We can't tolerate sexual harassment.
Sexual harassment is unacceptable in our school.
Because a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
Oh, they look nice.
Thank you, honey.
You guys gather, it's going down.
Gather! Gather!
Yo!
I tell you what. Yo!
Airtel is giving you bigger data bundles for the same price. Dial *175# to choose from our range of bigger Chillax bundles that don't expire. Bigger monthly bundles, all for the same price, and staying connected longer to loved ones. Airtel, the smartphone network.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Bara and Jinja.
The most exciting league in the world is in full swing. And this weekend's biggest winner is you.
Watch this, I'm coming up.
It's GoTV's first open weekend. A weekend where all GoTV subscribers can enjoy all the Premier League action from 1 to 4 September. All 11 games, 6 of them live.
Watch this, I'm coming up.
And with in-depth analysis, recaps, and magazine shows, it's more than just a game. It's Premier League for everyone. So stay or get connected using the MyGoTV app and love it.
Jesus turning and scoring.
With GoTV, terms and conditions apply.
Vimba! Ni M10 Kabode Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN cupboard super easy.
Nivana wafe twenywele, nivana wafe twenywele, nivana wafe tunyola. Eish, 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 eish. Nivana wafe tunyola. Fomoko, kumala kenyonta.
Nirvana packaged drinking water is a product of Crown Beverages Limited, makers of Pepsi products. That's life. That's Nirvana.
Welcome back. President Yoweri Museveni has said army officers retiring from active service should use this opportunity to create wealth for themselves now that government is able to send them off with some good remuneration. Let's take a look.
Because especially if you go with a little bit of money, you can really consolidate your life. And I would like to advise, don't involve yourselves in risky things. Don't listen to people who will hear that you have some money and come and say, you invest here, invest here, invest. No, please. My advice, there are two areas of investment which I think are sure. One is commercial agriculture, because as long as people live, they will need food. You have seen what happened with this corona. All businesses collapsed, hotels collapsed. The ones who had vehicles, because you see with corona you couldn't transport aeroplanes got bankrupt. Big airlines got bankrupt because people could not travel because of the corona. Therefore, they collapsed. Hotels ran into problems, but eating you could not stop. And I know this because I'm a farmer. I know that I'm a farmer. So, my advice to generals, please, buy yourself 4 acres model. In some of the areas, like my area, Gomba, when I first went there, 1990, I was buying an acre at 250,000 shillings. So I was able to buy big land.
An purported retired army officer in Lira has been further remanded for allegedly defiling a 17-year-old. Stephen Aine, who has also been disowned by the UPDF, was arrested early this month and charged with aggravated defilement and trafficking of children. While appearing before Grade 1 magistrate yesterday, Aine was further remanded till the 15th of September.
Grade 1 Magistrate Court has further remanded the purported retired Lieutenant Colonel Stephen Aine till 15th next month. Aine, who is charged with aggravated defilement and child trafficking, was arrested early this month from St. Catherine Girls Secondary School at midnight when his dependent claimed he was abusing her sexually. Records in court show that between the year 2016 and August 2022 at Tesobar in Lira City West Division, Aine performed sexual acts with a minor, now 17 years. Being a guardian, he also recruited, harbored, received and transported the victim by means of deception and used her vulnerability for purposes of sexual exploitation.
And I am happy that justice is taking its course.
The sign of victory for these children, that they are now getting justice and Uganda is a free country for them.
There is still an abuser out there. We call upon the public to shame them. Let them be brought to justice. Let them be brought before the law.
The State Attorney Paulo Mara asked court to further remand Aine to enable prosecution complete investigations to the case. Grade 1 Magistrate Hilary Murangira agreed and remanded Aine till September 15th. Last week, the UPDF came out to clarify that the said suspect is not and has never been an officer in the army. Captain Amos Zamba, the UPDF 5th Division spokesperson, says there is no record of any retired Colonel Stephen Aine in the UPDF's files.
To put this right, that our records have nobody of those names, and the UPDF is not a weaker force that can hold personnel it doesn't know.
Eddie Olua, UBC News.
And now in business news. The Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, in partnership with the International Growth Center, IGC, and several other development partners, have held the 6th Annual High-Level Economic Growth Forum in Kampala today. Under the theme, Building a Self-Sustaining Economy to Weather Future Shocks, the two-day conference is expected to foster ideas from various dignitaries in a bid to recover and propel Uganda's economy after the pandemic.
That the COVID-19 pandemic created supply constraints and contraction of both external and domestic demand. This year's theme of ensuring the country prepares better for future shocks has been justified.
I am happy that these challenges are going to be discussed exhaustively in this year's Economic Growth Forum, and we look forward to receiving your report and the suggestions how things can be improved. I look forward to the policy recommendation that we raise from this 6th Economic Growth Forum, which will inform our economic growth and budget strategies in the coming financial year and the medium term.
Due to the current inflation, global growth is projected to slow down significantly from 6% in 2021 to 2% this year, with little relief measures in 2023.
Indeed, imported inflation is an immediate concern to Uganda. Thanks to the Bank of Uganda's careful stewardship, Uganda's inflation at 7.9% is among the lowest in Africa, but is still a major concern. Inflation originated in the rich countries. They responded to the 2020 pandemic with substantial fiscal packages of stimulus and to stave off the coming downturn in 2020. Eventually, this collided with supply-side constraints, pandemic-induced labor shortages, constricted supply chain, global supply chain, sporadic lockdowns, most persistently in China. All of these contributed to this clash between demand and shortages of supply.
On top of the COVID-19 shocks, Uganda, like other global economies, now faces other looming effects like increased commodity prices, increased debt, and increased interest rates, which has affected the cost of borrowing money.
And then climate change effects, which already the previous presenters have hinted on. These have resulted in a gradual withdrawal of financing to non-renewable energy projects, The president, when he was addressing the country recently, he gave us an update on the drop in the investment, level of investment in fossil energy.
Since public funds are limited, mobilization of private investment and finance will be crucial to achieving this. So we encourage the government to work together with development partners, the private sector and other actors to leverage additional investments in this area.
The two-day forum converges development partners along with public and private economic policy stakeholders with the aim to stimulate actionable proposals that accelerate Uganda's economic growth, that directly affect revenue collection, monetary policy, productivity, food security, to mention but a few. Wadulo Makanold, UBC News, in Kampala.
The Insurance Regulatory Authority has launched a complaints management system that is aimed at minimizing the number of complaints arising from the industry and will see a phase out of the manual system. Chief Executive Director, Insurance Regulatory Authority Alhaji Ibrahim Lubega says the system is to ensure efficiency in addressing complaints lodged against insurance companies.
The complaints management system has several features that will enable one to see complaints against the insurance company and will be accessed by registered insurance companies, the insurers, plus the authority.
And there is also another feature where the complainant will be able to see and track how their complaint is moving through the system. Then third to that, there is also a feature where the insurer will be able to respond to the complaint, and also the complainant will also be able to see that response from the insurer.
The system will see a shift from manual complaints in a month's time and will aid transparency while addressing complaints.
The communications we make with the insurers must also be known to the complainant, and this is what we are trying to achieve. And also we want to track how much time do these complaints take to be resolved.
Number of days for a company to respond to a complaint have also been reduced.
Previously, we were giving 7 days for the insurance company to respond. Now it's not going to be 7 days, it's going to be less than that. So in terms of efficiency and response to the complaint, that will be improved very, very much.
Insurance Authority is confident that the system is protected from hackers.
All the securities, all the firewalls have been put in place so that the system is not easily hacked. But that's not to be said. We will continuously improve because
Another annual NBL entrepreneurship campaign, Be a Millionaire, is edging closer to the penultimate stage following an intensive selection of the top 25 participants for the two-day business boot. The process that narrowed the contestants from over 200 entries received nationwide had Enterprise Uganda select the best on the basis of the business idea and performance from the 2 days camp. Now 25 participants chosen with 5 week game show. The season 2 of the campaign, themed Last Man Standing, has a prize kitty worth 100 million Uganda shillings that will be spread among participants at varying levels. The business development manager, Enterprise Uganda, Noah Wandera, indicated that confidence and self-drive to achieve business results ranked highest on the list of priorities.
We go to a shop, we have bottles. Suffer with bottles, stop, blast. Simple as that. Hey, you can do it the other way around. Stop, smile, blast. Blast is for the photographer. Yes, at least a fist, an NRM sign.
This whole campaign is underpinned by that dream. That we want you to become vectors of a future with more cheers for your personal, first of all for yourself, for your business and all those who are associated with it, your family, your workers, for the community you live in, for the region you come from, and of course for the rest of Uganda and by extension for the world.
And our mandate on the program has been building the capacity of the younger entrepreneurs, basically giving them the opportunity to have the right mindset and attitude to operate their businesses. So through the boot camp, they have been able to go through a series of challenges, a series of exercises that have enabled them to acquire key competencies and attitudes of successful entrepreneurs. The knowledge, the skills, and the competencies got from the bootcamp can be used just beyond looking at the awards or the money that they are expecting to get from the Be a Millionaire. As Enterprise Uganda, we believe they have what it takes to grow their businesses, given the mindset change that they have gone through and the key competencies needed for them to grow their businesses from where they are to another level. It's fundamental to business operation is the positive mindset. That's why our focus was preparing them to acquire the right mindset, the right attitude for them to operate businesses. So that's lucky.
You go to a shop, you have bottles, you serve
And I suppose with close to 3 months to the 2022 Football World Cup, 2 lucky persons have won themselves an all-expenses paid-for trip to the showpiece. This after a draw by Hisense Group, which is a Chinese multinational appliance and electronics manufacturer.
Mwanja and Samson Adiemi have become the first lucky winners of an all-expenses trip to watch the 2022 Football World Cup in Qatar this November. This after a draw by Chinese appliance and electronics manufacturer Hisense Group Uganda.
Tuina promotion again a maso bajita buy and win gula owangule tugenda Qatar.
And I'm glad to talk about the ongoing promotion, that is the FIFA World Cup tugende Qatar to watch FIFA World Cup, that is live, all expenses paid by Hisense. Today we've held the first 2 draws and we got the lucky 2 winners out of the thousands of people that subscribed to enter this draw. All of us can still be winners. We had the first draw that was at Esso Corner, our showroom at Ginger Road, opposite Victoria University, and the second draw has been here at Prestige, that is Kampala Road.
The Chinese group has confirmed that 5 draws will be made and 10 members of the public chosen for this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The 2022 World Cup starts 20th November till 18th December in Qatar.
And Uganda cricket under-19 girls national team has been flagged off to Botswana for the World Cup qualifiers due 1st September. The girls are set to compete in the ICC T20 qualifiers for a slot in the first edition of the under-19 Women's Cricket World Cup.
The cricket under-19 girls national team has been flagged up to Gaborone, Botswana by the National Council of Sports representative David Katende. The team is set to compete in the first edition of the under-19 Women's World Cup qualifiers from the 1st to the 13th of September. Uganda is in Group B with hosts Botswana, Namibia and Sierra Leone, and Uganda will play Namibia in their first match.
It is the first ever World Cup qualifiers, but not the first under-19 Uganda has participated in. Most of these girls have played at school level. They have played in our national league, so they have the playing experience. It's the reason as to why they were selected to come and represent the country. We chose the best out of the many that we had, and we hope for the best out of them. We are not taking anything for granted. We are ready for everyone. Everyone is ready. We are playing against 9 opponents who are all competing for one slot for Africa in the first ever Under-19 Ladies World Cup.
The players who have been in camp for over 2 weeks are confident they are ready to put up an exceptional performance at the tournament.
We've been working on our weaknesses ever since, because it is our first tournament, but we are not scared of anything. We are always champions and we believe in ourselves. So with the training that we have had, I believe we shall put 100% we shall not be scared of anything. Cricket is all mental. So I believe we shall make it on the team and we shall make Uganda proud.
The qualifiers are a pathway to the first edition of the Under-19 Women's World Cup to be held in South Africa come 2023. Grace Joyce Kenigisa, UBC News.
Well, and that sums it up for news tonight. Thank you for sticking with us throughout the hour. Elizabeth Nakakoni on sign language. I am Rhoda Ngonzi. Have yourselves a lovely night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
I remember the lockdown, when the streets were empty and our lives disrupted, when businesses closed and our livelihoods hung in the balance. Hospitals were full. We lost loved ones, jobs, and hope. Our children couldn't study anymore. We cannot let this happen again. We should not go back. Get fully vaccinated against COVID-19 and join the millions of Ugandans who are already vaccinated.